2222222. Welcome to the wonderful one stream of Essentials TF. It is our lovely coverage of the Division 2. That's I say it again. 2 will be the number we'll be looking at this evening. It will be 2 teams. We'll be facing off against, potentially 2 maps, but it could be 3. We've got 2 casters here, Ben PL and TurboTabs. Ben, how are we doing today?
Doing absolutely fabulous. I had a busy evening already, literally just coming off the back of casting the Open semi-final before this one. But obviously the D2 one is what we're all here for tonight. It's going to be a good game. Got the explosive dogs who've kind of run away with it this season against everyone except their opponents tonight, who are We Love URABE, who've had a couple of good results come good later on in the season. A couple of names you might recognise. I know we've got J-Max on production. We've got one of J-Max's ex-teammates in the server in Phi over on the scout class for We Love URABE. So maybe we're going to have some a bit of bias in the production.
So this is why he's come out of his cave and we managed to get him into the production chair. He wants to see some nostalgia. Well, to keep it nostalgia here, Ben, we're actually going to go for a nice sort of duo, or should I say duo, of King of the Hill. We're going to have both King of the Hills rearing their head for this grand final tonight in this Division 2. So it should be really exciting. But if it comes down to it, we will play Granary if we get that far.
Honestly, I'm loving life. I love King of the Hill. It's great. I'm always down for some King of the Hill, and yeah, product Bagel back to back. It's not something you see massively often in these pick bans, right? Because there's normally one team who feels more confident on the Koth maps in general, so one of them gets picked, one of them gets banned. You don't normally have both teams taking Koth as their pick, so it'd be quite interesting to see what they wheel out. I'm presuming whoever came in and picked products has some kind of plan coming into it, perhaps a perma sniper, perhaps just really feeling it, perhaps doing some good results early in the season. But yeah, it's unusual to see both teams picking the opposite Koth map.
Yeah, you're 100% right in your estimations, and if it sounds like we're delaying here and going through these rosters, it's because we are. I am more than intimidated by anybody in this entire server and their name, but I guess we should probably stop dodging bullets here, Ben, and go through the rosters one by one, because these are grand finalists. They've managed to make their 15 minutes of fame here on the Essentials TF channel, so let's indulge them a bit, shall we?
Yeah, let's go for it. We'll start off with Explosive Dogs, number 1 seed, coming into this with their all-French roster. We've got Tenno and Yakalelo on Scout, Alien, Smiley and Zen on Soldiers, Celerio on Demo, and Sosok on Medic. And it's an unusual one because Alien Smiley is obviously a name been on a lot of people's lips recently, especially around the Pint Gaming run, both in season and in Uberfest. Has done well, and actually played Prem previously on Scout as well, but I don't think on Soldier, so that's why he was down in D2 this time around. I'll let you, Turbo, you can take over discussing their opposition.
Oh boy, we love URABE. It is FY and Aaron on Scout class. We have Tantu and Feasty on the Soldier class, Spyo on the Demo Man, and Torret is going to be playing Medic. I recognise Torret, but other than that, everybody else here is maybe a little bit of a question mark for me. But this is the beauty of these Div 2s. These are the talents of tomorrow, today, in this Div 2, Ben. So this will be really fun to see these people. And also the kind of style of TF2 where it is not perfect TF2. It's going to be adorable TF2. It's going to be messy. It's going to be grindy.
Yeah, on Koth especially, right? It can really get a bit messy. But looking at this team, right, there's Spyro is a player who's been around, I think has maybe played D1 before on Demo. But yeah, looking at the rest of them, Fi obviously is the other one that stands out to me just purely as one of J-Max's ex-teammates. But yeah, a lot of new faces, a lot of new risers over on both these 2 rosters, getting themselves ready, just sat there ringing the bell in the spawn on product, it's a new cool thing that all the team is doing nowadays. We are almost ready to go live with map number 1 of the D2 Grand Final of ETF2L Season 51. As usual, we've got the French Explosive Dogs in the blue, We Love URABE in the red.
All right, and the first thing I'm seeing on middle is not too much. Actually, quite a late, chilled, explosive dogs. I have to spin my camera around to check if they're still there, but they're just really coming into this very chill and relaxed. Nobody wants to take the forefront, it seems, over on the French squad.
Yeah, the sniper is going to be the one they're waiting on, see if they can get anything. Actually, there's a last shot over to Feasty, who just trade out 1-for-1 with the sniper, and that's going to work in the favour of Wheel of URABE. Look at the space they've taken across this point, getting a second frag as well onto Alien, who swapped over to Scout. And that now means that Bomb's the pressure going forward. But what about this in behind? Zenga bomb in over the top onto Torret, does not quite manage to get it, neither onto Spyro either. And Wheel of URABE, they have survived this first onslaught just about and got some cap time.
Yep, doing a good job of diving and dodging there, and we'll keep the scout leashes going, but they actually look like they want to take a trade between both of these players, and whilst the trade is happening, those two soldiers get picked off by trying to take down Salo, but they will get the pick, but they will lose their lives for it.
Yeah, they're going to get something, right? That's about it, though, right? They're going to have to get the point capped up, don't want to delay any players, and that's going to give a little bit of time for some spawners to come in, so no time to get a forward hold yet for the explosive dogs. They just have to chill this one out, play from the point, but 30 seconds down in the clock, we're still basically even Stevens, given that the point is still in French hands.
Well, take a look at China, and we still see a sniper class over on the French side, so they're going to feel a lot of pressure here. But Feasty's going to go in, pressure the sniper out, and Tantu's actually going to finish off the sniper. Will go down for their sins, but with the sniper out of the fight and not breathing down their necks, it probably brings a sigh of relief for the Wheel of URABE team. But they're kind of struggling to just find the kind of synced up fire amongst all the core, however. This core is really struggling. Maybe putting too many attention seekers into that sniper ball.
Yeah, they're having a bit of trouble over on Wheel of URABE. I thought it was going well as well when they came in and traded 1-for-1 for that sniper, because they got so much ground when they did it.
Oh.
Didn't manage to get the cap, but now the sniper is lighting up on this left-hand side of the point, killing to Spyro as well, killing to Aaron, and now really going to go to tighten the grip over on the explosive dogs team. Can they squeeze the Wheel of URABE team out? And it looks like they nearly got them all the way out. They have to go all the way back now. No chance of a forward hold, but it's really bought a lot of time. This hold's been almost 1 minute 30.
Okay, we've used the Uber charge a bit aggressively on Wheel of URABE, so they go straight into the explosive dogs, but they're going to have to go and send a couple of players in their backline, seeing if they can kind of pick off the sniper class, but they can't even deal with the scout class that's bodyguarding him. And I don't know how they were kind of feeling about that trade. There was a really early pop, and there was a much later pop coming out from Sosuk, so it was kind of easy for explosive dogs to kind of play it off one by one from that point on.
It was. Now they're going to have to try and re-aggress. Even Ubers, yes, they've got a bit of time to get through, but this hold has been impenetrable thus far for the explosive dogs. It's going to be an attempt to try and get in over this connector side. Bombs landing actually over towards Sosuk, who takes a ton of damage and gets taken down by Tantu. The follow-up one from Feasty also in. 3 players now fall from the explosive dogs team, but how much can the salvagers get? Spyro's going to get caught. Tenor is still trying to fight as well, getting chased down by both these scouts. And it just leaves the one sole sniper up on China, trying to get whatever they can, but they retreat all the way back. They know what's up. It's going to be big disadvantage now for the French squad, and it's a doorway back into this round, perhaps.
Yeah, they're going to have the Uber charge ahead of them as well, so if they realise this, they should see how far Sosuk is playing forward, and they can just pop the Uber straight into them, but they take out Alien pretty early on here, and, well, they're still not popping the Uber like I was expecting them to.
Yeah, they're just taking the space. They tend to take the ground, but Snipe comes in onto Aaron. Zenga bombing gets juggled up in the air by Fire on the Scout. The force comes in finally. And what an important force that is. Completely secure is the entire French combo up on China. They can just take the space. They can walk on in, and with 50 advantage all the time on the clock as well, they can get the point capped up, and they can just sit and lock this one down.
I know it's one of those kind of Ubers that you want to use to pick up the pieces a little bit. It seems like everyone's falling from the domino effect, but if you lose the point when popping the Uber, what's the real point of using it even if a few other players go down? Those 2 players that went down early, you're going to have to wait for them anyway, so there's no point really having to use an Uber in a situation like that.
Yeah, getting a bit chaotic over on the flank. Aaron goes in incredibly deep, does buy a lot of space, lets the point flip over into the red, but look at the players dropping. Spyro's gone down 2, there's a collapsing. Alien's taken a ton of damage. but has not had to use the Ubercharge just yet. Ubercharge finally used up now, but everyone's getting blasted away from this point. Only Fi and Turret left alive, and I wonder for how much longer, because Fi is going to have to juggle around. Turret gets taken down. The scout point is blocking the cap for a long time, but with 5 seconds left, I'm not sure anyone's going to get there to block.
Yeah, nice proactive Uber coming out from Sosik and company, so that's a pretty clean round on the board, all I can say for Explosive Dogs. You can feel the psychological pressure of this sniper, and I think the best moment that they had for We Love Harambe was when they were just Urambe is if they just when they were just ignoring the sniper. Maybe a light little pressure to knock him off the high ground, but realize he's out of the fight, he's useless. We should just try and focus on all the other players. And when they were blobbing up like that and using the soldiers to make space rather than get the pick on the sniper, they were doing much better.
They were. We're going to have to hold up for a moment just while we get on with this mid-fight number 2, as we've thrust ourselves into a bit of a pause. Not quite sure what this one's about, but we've got again, the sniper coming up once more. And like you say, it's a weird thing on a map like Product, because you do sort of want to ignore it to some extent. But I sort of can't, but I think like when they were trading, they got a couple of times they managed to bomb in and knock the sniper off, like you say. But the thing is, when you've got a sniper, you have to like play a bit further back, because they have one less soldier who can be putting pressure on. That's a soldier that's either not watching Connector or that's not watching Pride Rock. So it meant that Explosive Dogs had to play a little bit further back, and we saw when a soldier would trade 1-for-1 with that sniper, that all the ground was taken up by the We Love URABE team. They had everything, and they just got basically bullied back off the point afterwards. So I think it's a weird one to play around, especially when the sniper starts hitting shots. But for now, for me, it's Tenno and Alien who are just absolutely running the show over on the Explosive Dogs. A lot of experience in that scout duo, and it's kind of no surprise that they're kind of tearing it up out there.
Yeah, I don't think I particularly hate the soldier pressure in general, but I think the core of this We Love Urambe team seems so much weaker without these soldiers and their like space making. Like if they're not starting fights, if they're not the ones that's actually knocking about, say the Deraman or these scouts about, the fight seems to be a bit hard for them to start out. I mean, it might come down to Spio. Maybe struggling a little bit, maybe just it feels like everyone's kind of taking turns a bit to kind of being hung out to dry. I see a couple of players walking up, being brave, tanking some damage, but nobody else really wants to join them in the core, and it's only really working out when the soldiers kind of get in hot and heavy for them.
We'll see if things work out differently in round number 2, and it's not the start that have wanted over the We Love URABE team, because they have lost their demo man instantly. A good kill there coming in over from a sniper onto Spyro, and they're losing Feasty as well. Oh dear, it's all falling apart. The team's Tantu bombs in, gets a lot of damage to Sosok. Well, that is all that they can really get from this Fi last alive. Not going to get anything, and oh my, that is a complete mulch on mid.
Yeah, Explosive Dogs knows what they want to do. They know that they want to jump the sniper with their soldiers and see if they can like just keep that sniper out of the game. But it's kind of hard to do from the face front. Oh, they're actually going in aggressively with the Uber charge. They've popped off now, and they've caught them out in a pincer maneuver. Turret will go down, but surely Sosik manages to get out. But they need another body to kind of keep that medic alive, however, and they've lost so many sacrificed souls to keep this medic alive, and he might go down anyway. Oh, tragic, greedy play. Salab, fortunately, will get a little kind of cheeky pick off, but that's just a minor silver lining in this dark cloud.
I like the idea of the aggressive play, but the thing is they can only have the Uber charge on one side. It's either covering the front or it's either covering the spawn. And it covered the spawn, and it just meant everyone in front got wiped and left Sosok with no chance of getting out alive. And now Turret with a big advantage is going to be able to walk this one on forward. Feasty getting straight up onto the sniper. Tantu going to be bombing in and around 2. Can they try and get it? But no, never mind. Turret's gone down.
Ooh. You're right. I didn't even have my eyes on Turret during all this. I was just looking at the wonderful work that Tantu and Feasty were doing. Not only did they get the pick on the sniper, but they actually managed to rotate all these scouts all around the map, causing all sorts of distractions and getting out as well. They were doing a little bit of contributing to the team, regular core team fights. So very good job by them. But it feels like they have to do a lot of work here to kind of get their team online and engaged.
They do, and now with a big disadvantage point, time is going to roughly even out, but it's all but even in terms of the game state because Explosive Dogs fully around his big sack wave bombs in. Spy with the first of all. Sosok actually gets taken down completely by a nice couple of rockets in from Feasty, and yes, everyone dies over on Wheel of URABE, but they got the one objective. They got the Uber charge out of Sosok's hands, and now they've got plenty of time to actually work with. That could have taken a lot longer. The fact they bombed in so quick, that is brilliant stuff. I love it.
Yeah, well done. Now they're going to have an Uber charge ready, and they likely aren't going to have a forward hold here over on Explosive Dogs. They're actually flitting about on the cliff side. They could probably get a lot of these kills for free. One scout goes behind. They're a bit sheepish whether or not they should go back and deal with that scout, but instead they're going to take ground instead, see if they can use the Uber charge a bit proactively, it looks like, but they're being dissuaded here by all these sticky traps from Salunio? Oh my god, what's it? And we are actually Ubering in over on Spire.
No!
Spire will go down, however, they will trade Demo Man, so it's not the worst situation in the world. If Torek can keep themselves alive, this might work out, and well guarded by Aaron. They're actually coming in for the door. Aaron wants to get a bit more aggressive, actually isn't scared of the sniper. The bat's coming out, the sword's coming out, and he just slays the beast. They throw in one more soldier just for the hell of it, and manages to get that soldier back out again, back to the waiting arms of his medic, and well, when the dust settles, we actually have an overcharge advantage for Explosive Dogs.
There's actually no way Torret lives that. That is insanity from our red medic. In that situation, 10 HP up on the cliff, gets completely chased out, and now overcharge not quite ready from Sosok. But a couple of players been trading out. Spyro's gone down, Tantu on the flank, looking to try and get a perhaps onto the side, perhaps onto the medic. See who the target is. Unspotted bombs in. One rocket, two onto the medic. Doesn't quite land anything. As Sosok survives to fight another day, and the Ubercharge advantage lives on. And look at this. They're walking forward. They want to take this aggressive on Explosive Dogs.
Do they? They look like they're actually playing bit back.
I thought they were going to forward hold. They've decided against it. I think they were going to forward there.
I like this. I like it. If you're actually playing with a sniper, don't try and have it both ways. Just and we will pop off and exchange Ubers. Nice sort of Uber coming out from Explosive Dogs. They push past the Uber of Wheel of URABE and actually kill all these backliners with their own Uber charge. And when now they've managed to even kind of in the chaotic fight pick off these sort of stragglers of these soldiers that were looking a bit confused.
They were. Look at that timer now. 8 short seconds left for Explosive Dogs until they're about to go 2 rounds up. 3, 2, 1. Someone's going to stand at that point. Fi's the one doing the job for now, getting a good amount of cap time, but they're going to have to deny both these soldiers if they cap straight away, and they do. Both soldiers now not going to be in this refight for Wheel of URABE. Fi getting a nice kill onto the flank might be enough to maybe keep them in this one, but those soldiers are only just coming up on Wheel of URABE. They have 1 minute and 15 seconds to hang on. This is not going to be easy at all.
Yeah, and they're still rocking this sniper despite the overtime over on Explosive Dogs. I guess showing it the stylish way is we're just kind of playing defensive on Wheel of URABE. There's no obvious target. One player, that's Zen, going behind. They actually take out the Demo Man with the sniper class and Scout as well. And with a soldier playing behind, this is basically curtains for Wheel of URABE. And yeah, Aaron's going to hold on mere moments onto this last point, but it all comes collapsing in from all these remaining Explosive Dog players. And again, a pretty clean round from Explosive Dogs. Just a bit of, I think, overzealous Ubers, I think, is to decide what the difference of score was there.
Yeah, it was a bit messy, wasn't it? I think after that one like survive that Torret had, the fact they got into the couple of exchanges, none of them really went their way, which is kind of unusual, right? Because they're playing against a sniper, you'd think they'd be in an advantageous situation in these Uber trades, but I just feel like they're not managing to get anything done. And here they go, attempt number 3, the third roll of the dice for Wheel of URABE. Can they get themselves into this series with a point over on product? Can they evade this sniper? Can they evade the scouts who are just chewing them up on the point? Is it going to be enough?
Well, they have this sniper successfully defended, but that means their flank is so much weaker, and they realise this over on Wheel of URABE. They've taken out the flank. Now they've got 2 different directions they have to face over on Explosive Dogs, and they could abuse this a bit more. But they just were happy with the capture for now for Wheel of URABE, and say what you will about the sniper doesn't cap. He kills, he gets the pick onto the scout class, but they can maybe keep holding the line here. They force the Uber out of Sosok, and now Torek can just milk this Uber for all it's worth. They need to ideally get the kill onto Sosok though to keep this Uber advantage their way, but they're instead just going to double down, make sure all their players are well and defended. They throw Zen into the fight, but Zen gets gobbled up, and they are trying to cap time. They should block this over on Wheel of Harambe. They will actually get the block off. They step off for some reason. I guess they were a bit worried about the sniper class still, who's still ticking away throughout all of this. It really should be a good time for the soldiers to jump in. They finally jump in now. Nice little pressure from them. They can come back and get a bit more heals from Torret and company, and this is some wonderful time being made by We Love Urambe.
It's the first time we've really seen them manage to do this series, but now they've got to be a little bit careful because Zen's got all the way deep behind the scouts and Demo running across the point as well. Feezy going to want me to try and block that one out. Zen in the fight with Aaron on the back end is going to be taken down, so that's the threat from behind completely averted. But now Ubercharge is going to be coming up soon for both these teams, but not both these teams actually, because Torrent's been taken down by a trap from Celerio, and now it's all the collapsing onto Sosok. 98, 99%, but it doesn't take up to 100 because Sosok falls on the low ground behind the point, and we are into utter carnage mode. There's 3 players versus 2 for the moment, and Wheel of Arabe, they fight on despite Torret being taken down. On again!
Oh, that hurts the soul. That really hurts the soul. Poor Torret, I think, just wanted to get to his teammates as quick as possible and took the fastest route possible, which is one of the easiest sniping sight lines for that sniper. And, well, we're back to the drawing board, I'm afraid, Ben.
Yeah, the one thing that Wheel of Arabe have going for them is that Sosok, yeah, it's a 40 advantage probably by the time that building actually begins. The Ubercharge isn't ready yet, so they can bomb in, they can try and pressure because there's no threat of an immediate counter Uber coming back across. Tantu's using the opportunity to bomb in onto the sniper, but the sniper does actually get a very nice no-scope there up on to the soldier, and now both soldiers invested. They're going to have to be a bit more careful now over on Wheel of Arabe. Explosive Dogs pressuring forward. A demo kill is actually a pretty big one as bomb comes in from Zen, tries to trade over onto Spyro, but doesn't manage it, and Wheel of Arabe somehow are coming out on top on frags.
Yeah, they're still playing a bit scared though. They want to get all their players up before they make this push in.
They're ready.
And, maybe taking a little bit too long for my liking. They will pop off double scout chariot, so they will gobble up one player. That's Spyro going down, and Feasty might follow them next. Nice turnaround though, and they even get the sniper in the backline whilst Tantu is busy gallivanting, whilst all of these Ubers are just being absorbed. They even get the pick on I think that was a scout class as well. Nice recapture by Wheel of Harambe. Very, very nice. A lot of chaotic fights happening all throughout the map there.
It isn't. Look at this now. They've actually managed to get a forward hold because everyone at the end lived. They got better spawners because most of the time they didn't have the point. And now with 1 minute left, it's a full forward stance from Wheel of Harambe. We're going to Pyro up on Tenno to try and breach this one out, but it is an Uber advantage as well for Torret, so that's going to be something else to factor into this perhaps. Bombs come forward, try and land into where they think Torret's going to be, but Torret is not there. Torret has run away to the opposite side and is just trying to get out alive, and in the midst of this, Sosok going down is not part of the game plan whatsoever for the Explosive Dogs. Bomb coming now from the 2 soldiers now, as you've seen it's one of the snipers swap over to soldier, but that's going to be it. The Ubercharge is still in Torret's hand, and yeah, they're going to give it the point, but there's 20 seconds.
I like the spirit of Wheel of Urambe in that forward hold, and they just didn't have their positions. I think there was just some odd choices of where certain classes should go and stand and which doors to look at. They will take out FY with a cheeky link up of Sickies, and Tantu is being completely focus fired down, and the rest of Wheel of Urambe are just happy to capture the point, I guess, with 10 seconds left. Maybe this sort of bargaining kind of turn away of attention against Explosive Dogs might work out with 2 seconds now. If they do that one more time, they might just win the round off it.
That was really well played actually from Zen. Just the timing and the bombing gets a force out for 1 kill, and in the meantime that force happens so passively for Wheel of Arabe that the rest of the team are just left out to dry on the front side of the point. Aaron goes down to a sticky trap. This is probably some attempt at a sack wave, I'd assume, given the Ubercharge situation. Sosok does have any ready to go bombs landing. Spyro getting completely denied in the air, but it doesn't matter because the force comes out regardless. 2 seconds on that red point. Tantu has gone very deep over towards enemy spawn. Look at all the players turning around to fight. Tanto actually just kill binds. Decides, you know what? I'm done. I want to go back. I want to regroup with the team and just be here for the push, because with full Uber advantage, 30 seconds to get in, but Wheel of URABE, they only have to be on this point for 2
They're rotating.
seconds.
Oh no, this is why a lot of teams don't like to push out where that demo man is hanging out. They pop off the Uber at the door and they absorb it very nicely here. They might even get Spyro, who's kind of overextended themselves, and maybe they can just, if they can capture the point during all this chaos, maybe they might win to some sort of herpy situation. The scouts are managing to weasel out some skirmish kills. There's still a sniper on the face here, and Feasty's going to get feasted upon. Tantu throws in to sync up in time for Feasty, but ends up going down, and well, it hurts the soul. They were so close, but yet so far here. The overtime, though, might manage to net them enough time for Arrow to get onto the point. The medic needs to put a pixel onto it, but a pixel short. 3 rounds on the board, over 0. Explosive Dogs come out explosive in our Div 2 Grand Final.
They do. It was a nice play at the end to finish that one off as well. The early kill on the soldier trying to push out on Cliff is a nice start, where after that they kited the Uber so well. They knew exactly how far back they were able to play. They knew that the cap coming through was an immediate threat, so they had Celerio constantly watching it, constantly keeping traps up, constantly just trying to poke and prod at the point, and then by the time Horrit dies, there is so low HP on everyone. They just couldn't fight. It was like and they were up players actually at the end with Wheel of URABE, but they just couldn't fight because they had no HP, and they were just getting picked off by all the hit scan. There was nothing they could do at the end, and what a clean win that is from Explosive Dogs. The last round went to 2 seconds, but the others are a bit less close, and that's what they're going to want coming into map 1 of this D2 Grand Final.
Well, I hope it was interesting to watch as much as it was interesting to cast, Ben, because I think what I've realised is watching all these Prem players casting these Prem teams, you only really see a few mistakes, and when these mistakes come to the forefront, you have a nice, good, healthy amount of time to digest it, talk about it. It sticks out like a bit like a sore thumb. But for this game, it felt like a lot of things were happening on both sides that were a bit of a head scratcher. But I gotta give credit to Explosive Dogs. The sniper prowess of their team, that sort of philosophy on how they want to take product, is basically net them this map.
It has, right? And it's done it in a way that we've seen a lot in Prem, right? Is when you have a sniper on the field, like obviously the sniper can shine, but it allows the scouts to shine as well, because the enemy soldiers are forced to play a very aggressive, selfless play style to play around that sniper, and it means that your scouts can really light up. And we see there that the 3 hit scan players are 3 of the top 4 in the server, Alien, Tenor, and Yakalelo up there. Celerio, of course, as well, had some massive moments, some really good traps, good spam. Really good clean stuff, and that's what you want coming into a potential Bagel second map as well, right? Like your demo man popping off. But yeah, no, it was honestly, look at that. Like the damage is okay. Like there's 11 damage difference that Zen is behind 5. Otherwise, it's all the combat classes of Explosive Dogs above all the combat classes of Wheel of URABE, right? Like that's kind of dominant when you put it in stats form like this.
I think what hurts a bit more about the sniper playing on this product, it's not the sniper itself, it's just what sort of disease it puts on your enemy soldiers. They just start foaming at the mouth, and they feel like their gameplay gets a bit simpler, their gameplay gets a bit more one-dimensional, and the scouts were clearly taking advantage of this. They were literally just sat on top of China, and they were like, wait, any second now we're going to get a free soldier pick if you just kind of chill and relax. There were some opportunities they could have taken, and I won't lie, there was a couple of times Wheel of URABE did take those opportunities, like a weaker flank, or maybe just kind of going for a certain sort of kind of uber push. They can just fight into the team and just play against the sniper in an area that he's not really comfortable sniping in. But it just happens only like 1 or 2, while the sniper effects and the sort of effects it's having on these soldiers is happening throughout the game.
It is, yeah, and it's they really stepped up, didn't they, on that map. But now you got to sort of turn things around. And we said before, I was getting a little bit of info from one of my D2 friends who said that this Explosive Dogs team, they love product, right? That this is presumably their pick. So now going on to Bagel, we're going to see how they fare on a completely different flavour of cost map, right? Like it's a lot more focused on the soldiers. You might see a bit more from Zen this map, a lot more of the spam game, and obviously there's not as much opportunity for snipers to get involved. Obviously they can when breaking forward hold. Very rare
It'd be
occasions,
wild.
right?
It'd be a very, very wild choice. I think sniper to me on this map feels as foreign as Vanu playing his engineer class. I would actually welcome the engineer a bit more, dare I say.
Yeah, the sniper on this is not. It's not the way, right? Like for full time, so they're gonna have to go back to their usual routes, alien on soldier, and try and get this one set up. But I'm interested to see what URABE like see in this map that makes them think that they're that much better on like this cost map as opposed to product. I want to see if they've got any pocket strats. Anyone's gonna like have some unique way of like playing a house, getting behind, having some fun with things, because they need to sort of they need to lock in after that first map, right? They got kind of dominated.
I think Tantu and Feasty do have some good soldier prowess in them. It is bubbling away. I think they were just put into the sniper box, the sniper game, basically, over on product, and their gameplay had to get a bit more telegraphed. But now they have their own house each. It's real estate here on this Bagel map, and I think the soldiers are going to show a bit more commanding presence on this map, and that's going to be the edge, I think, for URABE.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I know. I think as much as I want to believe that there's something to fight back with on this, I've got to say I don't think I could. I don't think I could predict against Tenno and an alien in a D2 game. But I like anything can happen, right? Especially on your opponent's pick. And we've seen moments from like the coordination, right? We've seen like Fi have some really nice like multi kills on Scout. We've seen Spyro had a really slow start to the game, but did sort of find his footing towards that round 3. But yeah, it honestly feels like one of these maps, right? Like, and when you're coming in as an underdog on a Koth map, like if things just line up for you and you just feel like you're playing well, like it's one of these maps where you can like take down the on paper better teams, and maybe that's a part of why they're looking for it.
I think you bring up an interesting point earlier, ever so slightly, with Alien. Alien is obviously the one that sticks out like a sore thumb amongst all these players here. He is more than certainly the most experienced person in the entire server. And do you think there's some sort of edge about that? I mean, obviously he's playing a bit of a weaker class personally than he's used to with the soldier, but does that imply that there's just still that incredible power difference just because you have played in Prem? Am I basically asking you, Ben, should he be here? Is this allowed?
Well, he was on Scout last map, but he has played Prem on Scout before, so that's another entirely different topic, I guess. But this time we're going to be back on Soldier for Alien, and then we're going to be rolling out for map number 2 of the Division 2 Season 51 Grand Final. In the blue, once again, we've got Explosive Dogs clean up after a 3-0 win on map 1. In the red, we've got URABE now on their pick, looking to fight back. We've got an aggressive Scout hiding all the way forward in this left house. Is this going to try to bring a trap?
Yeah, well, he tried to set up a sucker punch, but nobody's biting here over on URABE. So they're just kind of taking tentative bites so far, playing respectful, as a lot of players would say. They get the first crunch onto Aaron over on the left house, but to say they have this player pick advantage, they're not going aggressive with any other sort of player.
Once flank Scout trying to get in behind over onto Tantu, who does actually get out alive, so for the moment, we're seeing them sort of stand their ground roughly over on URABE. They do actually lose Tantu eventually. That's not the opportune timing for that. They're going to go aggressive left house, going to try and get bombs in over to Sosok, who's down to 50 HP, heals back up a little bit afterwards. Well, that's essentially a 3-man sack, and they're going to have to back out all the way. They've given up a forward hold.
Yeah, I think it was just a bad time to go aggressive. When you're one player down, maybe there's something telling you, ushering you in your mind, thinking I need to go hero mode. But I think we need to fight those sort of urges here, Ben, if we want to kind of keep the line going for your team.
Well, yeah, we'll see now what they've got going for them coming out of this forward hold. They at least have Uber charge. They can take a trade should they want to, but instead they're going to bomb both soldiers into his left-hand side. Tantu going to try and scurry away to get health. He does just about do that. Spyro with the supporting artillery coming up and over onto the point, but there's a player in behind, I believe, getting the force out onto Torret, who's down at 30 HP. As now it's absolute disaster stations for URABE. Yes, they've lost no players, but they've lost their Uber charge, and Sosok can pop in at any moment, and the threat of that is going to force Wheel of URABE to play so passive down in the grass in the valley. Ubercharge finally comes out and the chase is on.
Yes, the chase is certainly on. Porra will actually get cleaned out as well. I thought he was out and safe, but couldn't really keep the taxi alive for him. So we'll go down, and now they can just keep the forward hold going. I think there's a bit of disconnect here in Div 2 to compare to, say, like a Prem forward hold or a forward break. You see a bit more, I guess, playing the angles of this right-hand side over on Wheel of URABE. They're not playing the health pack as much as I'd like, or playing the angle against the wall. I think the big advantage of forcing yourself on this right-hand door is playing against that wall. It's kind of like your enemy can't really play there. You're just basically going to be food if you're to these soldiers. You're just too splashable. But if you're playing against that angle, it's such a tight angle, and also you kind of get him soft covered by this little roof area. You got the health pack as well, and it kind of buys a lot of attention away from your teammates to kind of commit in and keep those eyeballs on that person on the health pack whilst they're getting peppered by everybody else at the door. And yeah, I think that was just the difference maker of whether or not that was going to happen quicker. And then obviously there was just that flank that was coming in behind, nobody really pocketing right on top of the medic there.
Yeah, that was I think partially caused by the fact that we saw the two soldiers from Wheel of URABE bombed the lower ground on the valley. And that means there's no soldier watching lobby. There's no soldier pushing out from the top of lobby. So that means that at worst there's a scout to fight in an enclosed space. So I believe I didn't quite catch it because it was in my peripheral as things were going on with the push. But I believe a soldier just managed to get in from top lobby behind because there was no soldier pushing out from there. And either Zed or Alien just managed to get all the way in behind, and it gets a force for essentially free.
Yeah, it feels difficult. It's annoying. I can deal with the plight of these players. I obviously, me and you, Ben, we've played a season when we have to feel these things firsthand, and you have to make these little decisions as a team, and whether or not you how you really take out these problems. And I think it's a bit more loosey-goosey on a map like Bagel. There's not really a true, yes, this is certainly the best way. Everyone has their own sort of little take about this, and I think this sometimes gets muddled up with other teammates as well. They might think like it's better to just completely forego that lobby, whilst others are actually dedicating an entire set of eyeballs onto the lobby. But yeah, I think in that little sort of haste of dealing with right side, nobody was dealing with lobby.
Yeah, it was a bit of a messy one, but I hope they're able to sort out wherever the issue is causing this tech pause. I didn't look at the timing exactly. I think it's maybe plausible this came at the end of round one, but I don't really necessarily want to get too deep into hypothesizing. Was it on a round win? Was it on a round loss? Whatever. I just know that last map, and also we've seen in the chat, there's been some complaints about some lag, which is unfortunate. So hopefully they can get that sorted out, and hopefully we can get back up and going. But for the start, at least for Explosive Dogs, this has been like the absolute dream start. You gotta say, right? Like, it just feels like everything is clicking into place. The first mid fight, they've had a really early kill, and they've never let up since then. They've never been in a situation where it looks like there's a chance that they're going to collapse, they're going to capitulate, or they're going to be at any kind of disadvantage, be it player, health, Uber, space. It's never even felt like a possibility, the entire map, for the first 2 minutes or whatever we've played. It's been a very strong showing to start this map too.
It does look like Chill Gameplay is the winner for Explosive Dogs so far. They have just been kind of letting URABE jump in and seeing if they can get the first aggressive overextended player out of the lot, and then taking the fight from there. So it's kind of up to Wheel of URABE to make the fixes against their mistakes here, I think, and then they can start kind of flowing a bit more on this Bagel map.
Yeah, well, they've got about a minute and a half to get
about.
Going on this start of this one. Tansu goes down to the hands of Zen. Is not an ideal start for this. They trade out 1-for-1 though, so it is potentially worth still pushing on. Spyro is incredibly weak though, has to back up and get the arrow, and this is the scouts now for Explosive Dog to take space up and aggressive onto this point. They can try and walk in, they can try and walk aggressive, and Tenno is doing just that, doing so much damage.
Everyone seems very disconnected over on Wheel of URABE. I don't think I've seen a single player play with another player for that entirety of that push attempt.
It's a bit messy, isn't it? It's getting a bit disastrous. There's not long left. 20 seconds on the blue explosive dogs timer. Can they get in? Can they at least get onto this point for a bit? But the Ubercharge is ready, and the Ubercharge is popped from Sosok. Can they get back in? Can they get anything? It doesn't look like any of the fights are going to go Wheel of URABE's way. They're just getting absolutely mulched up. Everyone on the point now for the French side, and this is going to be round number 1. Continuing right where we left off on product, because explosive dogs, this is about as dominant of a cost round as you could ever have.
Yeah, I am kind of in analytical mode right now, Ben. I'm trying to diagnose. Maybe I could send, mental thoughts over to Wheel of URABE, and I'm feeling if I was flying the wall of the Mumble, maybe they're lacking a main caller right now. It doesn't feel like everyone's kind of succinct up. There's a lot of kind of solo affairs, a lot of hero modes happening on Wheel of URABE, and that doesn't really help right now because Explosive Dogs play very chill gameplay, and in their sort of chill gameplay, they're always playing as a blob. So expect that one overextended player to be picked off really quickly compared to your average TF2.
They're playing it like we see a lot of. I don't know. This I've been like since LAN. I've been like watching and producing lots of games from lots of different divs, right? And like this gameplay feels like the kind of Bagel gameplay that we see in Prem. At least what we're seeing from Explosive Dogs, right? They're able to squeeze off these tiny advantages, like you say. Like they get one pick up and they play so safe, so solid, and it's like it's low risk TF2, but it's low risk because they don't have to take a risk, right? They just know they can solidify their position and they can just get themselves up and ready as we get ourselves ready for this mid-fight number 2, which has been delayed, and we've had a repause. Maybe someone's had some issues getting back in.
It's because they want to keep hearing about our points here, Ben, about this.
They're listening to the strats,
But I think you make an interesting point, and I want to bring up. Oh no, they're cop blocking my conversation. But I actually think the one team that they play like actually did the worst in Prem this past season, and that was like the team with Black on in them lot, the Sopranos. They were struggling and playing very much similar to this sort of style where they just kind of chill back and like let hope that the enemy team makes mistakes, and that doesn't really happen in Prem. Whilst here it's happening a lot, I think, with Wheel of URABE. They do start off with a nice pick on to a scout. That's something here. This should buy some room for the soldiers and the scouts to make something happen on the flanks. Tantu will go down, but it's not going to be the worst in the world. We're just fishing here, Ben.
Yeah, Tantu's probably not very happy there because Tantu took a lot of space, got a kill, got out into the right house, and then just gets collapsed on, and there is nobody there for the rest of the team to come and support on that one. As Ubercharge get across this point, can they get anything on either side? It looks like it's going to be a better Ubercharge actually from Wheel of URABE. They've taken a ton of space forward, and they've actually got themselves on the point for the first time in this map, or have they? Because the scouts are back in. Tantu do really can this right house and try and spam and help out, but the flank is falling apart. Now Aaron comes in to patch the gap. Spyro still firing across this point, and the mid-fight does end eventually with a cap coming through. Wait, what? Fight?
Yeah, Fight just walked in. I think everyone just let go of their mouse and keyboards for a hot second there. We're on Explosive Dogs. I guess maybe the French servers in the mind was updating. I have no clue why everyone just kind of stopped participating over Explosive Dogs for a second there.
And yeah, we had a little unfortunate disconnect there from Feasty, who is back in the game, up and ready, as now we're going to have big Uber advantage. Like you say, Sosok just getting caught napping there on the left-hand side of the point. Alien going to try and bomb in, deny this one. Does get a nice kill onto Tantu despite getting airshot, but it's Zen the soldier that needs to be watching out for because he is all the way behind. Gets one onto turret, but does not get any more. Wheel of URABE now, they can get themselves stocked up. They've got full Uber charge still. Sosok does not. And Feasty knows this, going to try and get in deep on this left-hand side, but decides better of it. Decides just to back up with the rest of the team, just to play the even Uber situation because they're up almost 40 seconds.
Yeah, I think they didn't realise they had the Uber advantage there, or they're kind of selling themselves a little short, thinking that, we don't need to use this, we could just buy ourselves a bit more time here. The threat of the Uber charge alone. And now all eyes on the flanks once more. See who kind of shows signs of weakness. Oh, good job by my Spyro to kind of block the point as much as he can, but can't quite block it quick enough. Yeah, scout drop by Sosok. and they're trying to make the multi as much as humanly possible. They throw in Alien, who wants to get the pick against Aaron, but they blob up quite nicely over on Wheel of Hurambe, and now it's the death corner for Celestro, and will go down, and they will hold on to this point. It was a nice turn by Wheel of Hurambe.
Really nice Uber actually from Aaron, the only one to fall in that exchange. Just get that early kill onto Tenno to deny the Pocket Scout from being part of the blue regardless, but then causes so many flashes and buys so much space. Well, speaking of space, Spyro gets space taken completely away from him on this grass area, and that means now the French team can walk their way up onto the point almost completely for free. Trades coming out left and right on this house, and it's all trades going in the favour of Explosive Dogs, and they just absolutely wipe up everything. They're only down one scout. They could even forward hold this if they're really fancying it.
Yeah, that was a much better example of a push out to the right door by Explosive Dogs. You saw that Zen jumped in, was bouncing around, using the angles, using the walls, and also allowed Alien to kind of pseudo go behind. It was really a fake back to just come back in and then take the early easy fight against the Demoman. Very nice. We're making the push out here though over on Wheel of Hurambe. Nice disengage by Explosive Dogs. We pop off Uber, but it's okay. We're going to take the scout taxi out. We're throwing our Demoman in high in the sky. But this is okay. They reset things and they keep on to the point, and they just need to keep a little bit body blockings and keep their numbers alive, and they should be doing well here, Explosive Dogs.
They should. They play that really well. They get the force, and that Uber charge gets absolutely nothing over on Wheel of Rabbit. Yes, that the only thing they can even argue they maybe got is a little bit of space out from this right-hand side. So now they can actually start edging the point. The scouts not in a position to block just yet. Fire just jumping up and around. There's actually a big collapse coming in this house. Fire going to be behind, doesn't quite get anything onto those two couple of players. Zen in behind is here to sweep up the rest. 2 frags on the flank, and now the point can instantly flip back around.
Alien bombs himself.
What? What did I just watch?
He just kind of went for a jump, missed everything, hit himself throughout the bomb, but it's okay, he didn't die, so he can just have another stab at it. And we do claim back the point during all of that chaos, so credit to them. They too go for a double Uber charge between both teams, ransacking ourselves back over on Sosik. Doesn't really want to commit any more players, it looks like. Very, very passive gameplay from Wheel of Hurambe, and they're going to just go back for the point instead. They will claim it, so a bit more deaths by 1,000 cuts here, or 1,000 caps I should say. They get the pick onto Salop over on Scout, and they're still just playing the point throughout all this. They don't want to go for any sort of aggressive play, they just want to block the point where they can. They get another cheeky cap from Explosive Dogs, and this time they'll find FY with it. They could throw in a player from any of these houses, but nobody wants to push the issue.
Tansu, the one thinking about doing it, gets a nice rocket there into Alien, who is forced all the way back, but Zen is the one who's got all the way deep in behind, and now it's looking really dicey for Wheel of Rabbit. Bump comes back in from Zen, doesn't quite get the kill into Turret, but now with 25 seconds left on this blue clock, can they get back in? Can they get something going on Wheel of Rabbit? They've got the scouts on the cap. But for how much longer? The Uber is just about there in time to get onto Fi. But Fi has nobody to find. There is not a single player in this Uber charge that can get caught. They're not blocking with the Uber either. The scout behind dragging everyone back.
Why do we need the entire team to go back? You're in the final seconds of crunch time here, and now we have to go take back this point by a Goliath mount. Soldier back onto the point to block. 6 seconds left on the clock. They just need to not wipe here over on Explosive Dogs. They will claim the point back again, and Celestio has to try and get a couple more blocks off, but respawners are coming in way too late for Explosive Dogs, and I can't believe that Wheel of Hurambe actually work out there. It looked devastatingly like troubling to send everyone back for that one scout.
Yeah, after that though, I think that they played that incredibly well, in the sense that they actually lost their demo at one point, and they decided at that point, it was 2 picks for the demo, they decided just to almost randomize and just go mega aggressive, because they knew in the extended fight not having their demo and having that demo denied a forward spawn would have been a big difference. They knew they had to win then and there, and they just went mega aggressive, caught Celerio and caught many of the players in Explosive Dogs, and got themselves their first round of the series. here on their own map pick of Bagel. Much better performance from in round number 2. What are we going to see on round number 3? More of the same. It's still a scout hiding on this far left side from the Explosive Dog's perspective. But Tenno has taken so much damage, it's just taken down.
Yeah, very nice link-up play between Tantu and the scouts there. So nice little pick-off. They're going to play this, what seems to be their favoured style, which is basically just capping it underneath the noses of Explosive Dogs. But Explosive Dogs, I think they're acclimatizing a little bit more now. Now they realise they just need to keep Salo alive and well and blocking this point constantly. Still no one's captured this midpoint.
Oh, it's a sketchy Uber check. Sosok had Uber just before Torrent. Torrent was taking up the percents there, did just about get in time. But like you say, there's no Uber chart, no point capture actually coming through yet until with the URABE managed to finally flip it into the red, but at what cost? Because they've denied Tantu, going to get denied Feasty as well, who's going to die on the flank. Fi getting pushed out from the right-hand side too, just about living on the right, maybe going to get out alive, but the point has flipped into the blue. And this is going to be, there's more potential for a long haul here with this setup now that Explosive Dogs have.
There wasn't even any sort of finesse or teamwork there. Everyone just won their skirmishes over on Explosive Dogs in 3 different locations. So credit to them. Win 3 lanes and win the map control. As we're now just picking off Aaron. I'm not sure what the play was there. Maybe trying to see if they can just overwhelm Celestio. I'm butchering that name, but let's...
I don't know how to say it either. I'm making it up, mate. It's fine.
Oh, he won't get an arrow either. They pop off Uber Charge, and I'm not really sure why, however. And everyone on the flanks take separate little fights during all of this Uber Charging. Sossok's even going to lose their patient who are on the flank. Salop is behind, so last time they all darted towards him, but this time they were just pretending he isn't there. They don't really have to deal with him.
Yeah, this is like kind of massive though, right? Like, it could have been more massive if they were still building over on We Love URABE, right? Because Sosok wasn't beaming for quite some time there. And that's now meant that there was chance for Uber advantages. Not quite going to materialise because Turret wasn't able to build, but Salo being late for this fight means that now never mind about the Ubers because Turret just gets caught completely on the push forward. Is there going to be a salvage attempt? Is there going to be a sack? Like, what do you even do? You just lost their medic for nothing.
This is what I'm talking about when I wonder who is the main caller. Who are they even in the same mumble? Because everyone, I think actually the medic was the most far forward player out of everyone on their team.
Absolutely wild. I don't quite understand that one. They get the one saving grace they get from it is they actually held the point for quite a while there. Because losing their med, you know, the Explosive Dogs, like we need to back up and we need to chill out. But they have given possibly the worst situation that you can be in, Koth. You're full discard, getting forward held. So we'll see how they get out of this one. I know in round number 1, we saw We Love URABE have a lot of trouble going through the right-hand side, but this time they go through the left, and a Soul Feasty bombs straight in over on to Solario.
Yeah, and they get the force out of Sosok as well, so this is actually as doom and gloom as you made it sound to be, Ben. They actually came out of this looking pretty.
Yeah, it was fantastic stuff. I think the demo flying, like the soldiers flying into the demo, the left side of Feasty did a fantastic job getting in onto Solario, and that now means that they've got a big Uber advantage. They're going to be able to cap the point out for free. They don't want to deny their scout. They want to wait for a moment as Zen bombs in over the top. Actually trades out with Aaron now. They don't want to deny their second scout. But it's a lot of players being invested for this over on the Explosive Dogs. Point capture does come in eventually, but still 40 advantage. Turret is incredibly weak, just spams behind the point, does get healed up, but the collapse is going to be coming in regardless. We're into Carnage territory, and I don't even know why.
Oh, that was very, very stressing, I think, for Torre. They had to bring back all his troops, and I think it was just a mistiming from Tantu. Wanted to go in, maybe play a bit aggressive whilst everybody else was really fishing for the turret pick, but it doesn't find the jump onto Sosok. Sosok absorbs this entire overcharge, and you know that desperation play when you get the overcharge on Scout and you really want to just, you know, double down with your life, see if you can get the force out, but it just feeds your life away. They throw on top on Sosok. Sosok doesn't even need to use the overcharge. It's just playing wonderful bait and switch against We Love URABE, and now it's only 40 seconds left. Forward hold again, and this time I think Celerio is definitely going to have better stickies up against these slingshotting soldiers.
Yeah, they're a lot more passive on the right hand side. The pipe's looking good too. One
Nope, it's happened exactly again.
And nope, we repeat the same situation, but Celerio this time around does get saved by the rest of the team. 2 players down for either side. Ubercharge used out on Tenno, who's chasing back these last surviving players. Wheeler Rabbit 15 seconds to try and get back in. On this point, they're getting a couple of spawners.
We've got to get brave.
You've got to be so quick. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. You've got to be walking.
Oh my god, we'd used the Uber. We didn't need to use the Uber to get brave, though. Good god, now we've got nothing to keep staying brave over on the midpoint. And Alien jumps in, gets the pick onto good turret. Oh, that's going to be a long sort of death for this round now, because now they're going to slowly be whittled away, picked off piece by piece. Any damage they do hurts, and Tantu will go down, and yes, the round will go to Explosive Dogs.
Nicely done, and that round was very close until I think just a couple of like missed calls, to be honest. I think there was like that really aggressive Uber that they took. Like I saw Spyro was half HP next to turret, like screaming for an arrow. The arrow never came, and they just went in with the solo scout Uber. Like, had a demo been in that Uber charge, there's a real chance they could have maybe caught it onto Sosok. But it was a good effort from Wheel of Rabbit regardless. It's an entirely new team to what we saw in the first round. And now, round number 4, do or die, their last chance on championship point for Season 51 of Division 2. Can they fight back, or are Explosive Dogs going to run away with it, as they have done with pretty much every game this season?
Alright, Feisty being singled out, won't get picked off, however. And everybody was paying attention over on our Explosive Dogs. I think we're just keeping all of our doors and checked covered. Salop overextends over on the flank, and they actually lose another scout over on the flank as well. Now, this should be kind of easy for them. Just play the point in the style that they've been doing, as Explosive Dogs just give it to them. They just disengage, and I like this.
They didn't really have much of a choice as well, because Celerio getting caught on the retreat is not part of what they were expecting to happen at all. 5 very aggressive into lobby, trying to look at the idea of getting a flank in. But for the first time in this game, the first time in this entire series, I believe, we've got a forward hold coming up from Wheel of URABE. They're going to try and lock out these doors, going to try and do what they can, but the scout getting straight into Spire, it's a reverse of what we saw before. It's used on the Uber charge as well, and this forward hold, it wasn't really a hold at all. They just let them straight in.
Yeah, they've just used the Uber charge, but they've managed to hold on to Sosek's Uber now, and now it's their game to play. They just need to kind of take this tentatively and slow, don't pop for any old silly reason, and they're backing way out here. But this isn't 5 CP, you can't just sway them away with the point. You need to hold on to that. They lose Tantu, they pop off the Uber actually very aggressively from Alien and Sosek and company, and yeah, they just back out over on Wheel of URABE. I guess they just really want to solidify this map control over on the
I think it was a force. I think Tantu did a ton of damage to the combo when he went in there.
That's a lot of damage.
More damage coming back in the opposite direction. Celerio deletes the combo. Oh my, that one pipe getting 2 for the price of 1.
Oh my god.
And yeah, it's not looking great now for Wheel of URABE. They are up on the clock, but that's about it. They're down on the Uber charges, down on players. Gonna, hopefully for them, try and get something on this point before these 2 blue soldiers get back into the game. But Explosive Dogs are exploding everywhere.
Well, I guess we learn who wins, whoever holds concrete or whoever holds the W key, as we will get a pick onto Feisty to start off with. This will open things up a bit for the flank, but actually gets neutralized. Very nice by FY to dig deep there and keep these houses under control. We've used the Uber charge. They've not been keeping full track over on Wheel of URABE. They're actually maybe turning around on FY, wants to come back in, support his duo. Nice sort of damage being laid out. Very, very good to say that an Uber charge came in. And Tantu not only getting some flank kills, but circles back around and gets the combo as well.
Oh, it's absolute carnage over on this point. Sosok going down 2 in the midst of all of this. Means now Torret with a full Uber charge advantage, even times on this point. Point flips into the red. They're fighting it for dear life over on Wheel of URABE against tournament point. But they've finally got themselves a bit of a lead. Is it something they can cling on to? Because the Uber charge is now coming across aggressive. This time they have the demo involved in it. They're bombing in, taking a lot of ground. but not really finding a ton of frags.
Nice.
2 actually, nice kill onto Zen. 5 dies though. That was not really necessary.
We're extending, we're feeding over on explosive dogs. I guess save your friend syndrome a little bit.
Turret. What? Why?
Well done by Alien for finding that pick, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that Uber charge from We Love URABE. I think any sort of Uber charge that you can definitely see when it's first initially clicked or popped off or anything like that is not a really fantastic Uber on Bagel in my opinion. They're going to come back in now with their favourable respawns, get the 3 point off of We Love URABE, but on the bright side they did waste a lot of time. Oh, what a lovely jump by Spyro there. That was wonderful, but they will lose the entire team, but that was, you guys, that was a really good jump.
It was great as well because it synced up the damage. I think Sosok took a rocket at the same time as the Sticky. That went from 150 to 0 health in an instant. There is no reacting to that ever. But what they might be reacting to is the Scout, who is hiding, lurking in the back of the lobby.
He wants the kill, he wants the turret
any moment.
Nobody checked their corners. Oh no, it hurts the soul. In the tiding turn of the game, they felt like they could come back into this and just have it ripped away from them. They will settle for a bit of capture time, but...
Sosok's in no man's land!
What?
Sosok was just on grass alone the entire time, but now everyone on the French team is falling apart. Just 2 players up in the lobby. Fai has to retreat back to the point, 30 seconds left, and this is now suddenly back to anyone's game again, because the Uber charges are back even. Spyro is a slightly late spawner. It's going to be advantage to explosive dogs in terms of this first fight onto the point. Their spawners, they're just a little bit quicker, but can they cap up before the reinforcements are here? How much cap time can they get? Block comes in from the 2 scouts already. Zen trying to get in from this right hand side, gets 1 nice rocket, does not go for the air shot, thought about it for a moment as he bombs out and around. Point flips over into the blue, but that's just as Alien dies, who's going to be a late spawner for this refight back in. Tenno goes down, fights everywhere in the house. Zen maybe going to crash on the way back, does go down, and there's only 2 alive, and this is going to be a game 5 on Bagel as We Love URABE come back in the most improbable of fashions.
Very nice blobbing up by We Love URABE. I like the succinct sort of select fire. Obviously they were calling out the right players at the right time, and must have been well played by either the demo or the soldiers to actually find these little picks and damages on these players that were honestly playing a bit too center-ish over on explosive dogs, and I think it happened like 3 times in a row in that last couple of minutes of the game.
Yeah, they were getting caught in some rather weird scenarios, especially after they got that med kill as well. I thought it was done and dusted there. Well, this time the aggression coming out from We Love URABE. They're feeling so confident. They get really aggressive. Trade out their demo and a scout for 2 frags on the opposite side, but Zen is all the way in behind onto the medic. Does not manage to get the kill onto turret, who lives to fight another day. But it's another day where there's cap time coming through already for the red side. And big damage onto Tenno, who falls down. Fai is beasting.
They're still going, still getting aggressive. Actually gets the kill against Sosok. Torret, what are you doing there? Oh no, we should have disembarked just that little bit earlier there. Just give your boy a buff and let him continue to play his game. But I guess they weren't fully aware of all these soldiers that were caught behind as well.
It's a Spyro trap. I like this. Well, I don't know if I like it or not. This trap on the, house.
This is good. This is good to say that he hasn't really got...
Does this get anyone?
Oh yeah,
it does.
Well, there's nowhere else. The rest of his team's dead. Like, he hasn't. If you're playing on your own, just getting a cheeky setlit frag is probably worth it in a situation like this. Sadly, they will lose out in their own little infighting on the opposite side of the map. They claim a midpoint.
Feisty behind. Behind, trying to get back in, and the medic presents themselves. Sosok just walks across in front. Tantu going to bomb in as well, try and get something, but Feisty has to bomb out.
Good God.
And away. Point gets capped, I believe, accidentally going to deny everyone there on the way back through. I don't quite think Feisty meant to do that, was just trying to leave. But it's not going to be the end of the world. Point gets capped up, regardless, very quickly for the explosive dogs, who now sit with a big Uber advantage, 30 seconds down on the clock. And with these before, like we said before, like, you know, round 1 they had so much trouble getting back out. Last twice it's been all eyes on Celerio on this top left door. See what happens this time.
Alien is probably furious at his medic right now. I am only holding this close because you have an Uber charge, sir. And then you just leave. Why? Why are you doing this to me?
Well, on the plus side for Explosive Dogs, they get Torrent in the midst of all of that. So despite having to force out their own Uber charge, it is still even. So we had a bit of carnage there. We had some... was it? I'm not sure if it was quite traded air shots or if it was splash rockets up in that house. I want to believe it's air shots. And we'll see now whether the URABE can get themselves back in with even Ubers. There's not the ability to hold mega close like we saw before. We're going to see bombs coming in though from Feasty in and around the point, getting a ton of damage onto this combo. And now the aggression can come in from Tantu, who bombs in, gets onto Sosok. But Turret and Fi, last two alive, and oh, the surface there, and the direct to follow up as well from Zen. That could be a D2 winning rocket. What a shot.
FY picks up the health pack, can maybe still turn this around. Never mind, I jinxed him.
Yeah, nearly managed to get back in. It was a good effort there from Fi. It saved themselves from a massive disadvantage that it would have been, given that Sosok died at the beginning of that fight. But now, like, look at the timers. It's a minute advantage almost.
Yeah, that was just a really weird fight previously. I think a lot of times was just losing players. I think everyone was kind of getting a little lost in certain areas and couldn't find where these people had gone. We all ransack one house, it looks like, and we get taken out over on We Love URABE. And Explosive Dogs get to do another lovely forward hold, but the forward holds have been a little lacking as of late.
They are, but look at the time now. There's 40 seconds left. There's still a spawner that they're waiting on. Uber charges are only just ready from either side. A good Uber charge here on Alien could spell absolute disaster. Rockets come in already. Tenno gets a frag onto Feasty, and it's all on what the rest of this Uber charge can get if you even have to pop it. The threat of it is just there. The pop comes now in finally onto Fi, who goes right side this time in onto Zen. Aaron in behind does lose the fight, and I really don't see a way back into this. The Uber charge finally counter-popped from Explosive Dogs, but Alien currently just locking out the entire enemy lobby single-handedly. I don't think there's a way back into this one.
He's still alive as well. He could probably get a crossbow back up, and they're playing the desperate game of Bagel, where you have just that few moments and seconds left. It was very muddy. I think it really hurt that they lost somebody in lobby as well as making the push out onto right, and yeah, it became a little hopeless against the Explosive Dogs. We Love URABE, but credit where credit is due, though. Explosive Dogs showing that they've got that King of the Hill magic.
They do. It was very well played, and like I said, that first round was complete domination. But even since then, they were really causing problems, especially on the flank. Right, their flank had so much fun that game. And yeah, they are absolutely deserving winners. I think they've only dropped one map all season, and that was earlier on in the season up against We Love URABE on a golden cap. But they've been nothing short of really dominant this season. So deserved champions. We see there the DPMs and stuff. Yeah, this is Bagel logic. Fi trying to hang in there. Had a good game. Had some very nice Ubers as well in the midst of that. But that sort of tells the story again. Very similar to Products. When the We Love URABE team were getting involved, it was kind of a bit scrappy, and they were sort of finding picks a bit inconsistently. Whereas just the raw damage from the Explosive Dogs was a bit much to handle.
I cast my mind back and I think back, and I think it's just a lot of learning. I think throughout the journey of the map, there was a little bits where certain holds looked pretty strong at the beginning and then started to turn out a little weaker at the end. And I think you're seeing Div 2 in all of its glory here, Ben, which means there's brilliant moments, honestly. Genuinely, I look at some of these and I'm like thinking, wow, this is a really clever idea, or this is really gameplay. But the consistency is just not there. You just see these glimmers of little hopes, the best opportunity of the TF2 come forth. We just don't see it let up. I'm not even just praising or hating on any particular team here. I think both teams were having moments where they could really hit the stride on one particular method, and then like the next moment they would like completely beef it for some strange reason. And yeah, I think coordination was probably a bit of the hindrance on this map for both teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bagel is the biggest test of that. So I think the strength here that kind of won it for Explosive Dogs was, I think their house control's a bit better, in my opinion. Their forward hold is certainly much better as well. And I think there was a bit more beefing, I think, from we love URABE. Like, as in, they would kind of overextend a bit too much, just those sort of crazy plays, or just those really wacky moments where you just kind of wonder, I don't even know why, like a medic would be really far forward or someone just froze, That's my diagnosis anyway of the game. But otherwise, it was very chaotic, very enjoyable. I love all the wacky names, so thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed having your names named incorrectly as much as I started saying them incorrectly.
Yeah, it was a good one, and we've got a schedule on screen now, right? This was obviously the first of many lower div finals. It feels like an age ago since we had D1 and Prem, where this D2 final is the first lower div that we've crowned. So congratulations to Explosive Dogs on that one. That's obviously at the top of our screen. The rest of these I'm not sure I've seen before in terms of like at least in the schedule. The Fresh Div final tomorrow at 19 is an interesting time for a grand final. I know they've confirmed it apparently. So if anyone's keen on Fresh Div grand final, I don't know if we're going to have a stream for that. Potentially,
we'll see.
We'll have to see. But the rest of these D4, D3, and also to anyone keen listening in the chat, Open semi-finals happen tonight. We know that final is going to be between Road to Open Ovo and the Headphone Get Cold When ban, whenever they decide to schedule that. And I believe the low grand final is Students the Game against Fish 12 at some point, probably next week. I don't know. But we've still got, 5 finals left to play?
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of
all the
TF2
grands
to be played.
coming out, all at the same time. I'm guessing you're going to be doing a lot of Frost Hazard TVing, Ben.
Well, no, I've been doing a lot now. It's over the Essentials games, right? For these, if we can get people in, if we can get some, we get some keen casters on for Essentials. If not, obviously I'll put them on Frost Hazard TF2. But I think I've been busy at work. After LAN, I'm like, what's the best way to like prevent like LAN blues from kicking in after LAN? I was like, just like produce a ton of TF2. So it's been good, and it means you get to go watch some fun games, some fun teams, and this one was no exception. I know obviously it was a little bit of a roll on product, but Bagel really could have gone either way until the very end. So this is a good fun one. So thank you for joining me on that one. I think are we ready to wrap up?
Yes, we're going to wrap up here over on Essentials TF. Obviously, I've been Towers. With me has been Ben PL. Thank you for joining us here in this wonderful ETF2L 6v6 Season 51 Division 2 Grand Final. Well done to Explosive Dogs, commiserations to We Love URABE. We'll see you guys for more grandness in the coming days. See you soon.